What is up, RotoGrinders? Happy Friday. 2+ hours nonstop MLB DFS conversation. It starts right now. Oh, I just realized. Terrible start for me. I had the YouTube video on in the background, and I thought I muted it. And then I just started screaming at myself like on delay. And that threw me off there for a second. It's myself, Bobby Gomes. You guys know Bobby Gomes. Former $1 million winner, MLB DFS. We have a two-time millionaire winner, Dave Potts, CheeseIsGood, in the bullpen coming in about an hour or so. Chief meteorologist Kevin Roth, as well as Kirkwood, KirkDiese, joining Cheese for crunch time. That's around 6:10 or so. Weather-wise, I think we're in the clear, right? If anything changes, anything alters, Roth will give us the heads up, but nothing scarier than a yellow. I'll go ahead and drop this in chat for the people. What's up, chat? Hit that like button. Subscribe. Turn on those notifications. Share with your friends. Do all those things to help us keep the lights on. Yeah, yellow in Detroit. That's the only one that's straight yellow. Everything else is kind of green, yellow, or yellow, green. Nothing that's really scaring me as of right now. I'm going to assume that all these games do play. Really positive hitting weather in Chicago, San Francisco. On the road there, locked in for 9. Warm, winds blowing out. So we have a bump to bats here, according to Roth. I think Weather Edge likes it as well. Bobby, happy Friday. How are things? Everything all right?
Yeah, everything's good. Just listening to my son sing Blippi for the last hour and a half, and yeah.
I'm not familiar. Can you give me a bar or two of Blippi?
Garbage truck. Wish I could ride a garbage truck. Yeah.
Is that the chorus? I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I'm missing out. That sounds pretty good. You sold it for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I tell him he has a great voice. You got to build him up.
That's Blippi?
Blippi. Yeah.
All right.
Courtesy of Notorious. Notorious got me on the Blippi train,
Oh. Yeah. Is that right up there with Miss Rachel?
What?
Has your son moved on from Miss Rachel, or just kind of needed a change of pace today?
We're out on Miss Rachel. We're out.
Oh, you're out. You moved on. You've got enough.
He's grown up. Yeah, he's in other stuff now.
He's too old for Miss Rachel. He's aged out at like 2.
He's aged out of Miss Rachel. Yeah, Miss Rachel's for like speech.
Okay,
it helps the kid like formulate words and stuff like that. And he can talk just fine. He talks so much he talks in his sleep. So, he's ready to go. Could be on a show with you, Dean.
I guess I have to do my research. I don't
know.
You
would say a lot of words, I would imagine.
The usage would be like 50-50.
The usage would be 50-50 for sure. On this show, it'll be like 80-20 your way. But
I'm happy to yield. I'm happy to pass. I'm happy to let you shine for sure. We have an hour and 15 minutes until we yield to crunch time. Hour and 10 minutes, depending on when crunch time knocks on the door. Again, Roth, Kirkwood, Dave Potts, CheeseIsGood. It is a 14-gamer tonight, Bobby. Not messing around. This is, when we say big boy slate, we're talking about a slate like this. And also, you tell me otherwise, it's pretty wide open, right? The Dodgers are no longer in Coors. There's no team that has a team total above 6. There's some teams are in the 5-ish area, right? LA is in Kansas City. A ballpark downgrade there against Noah Cameron. But they're over 5. They're locked in for 9. Expecting Neto not to play for the Angels tonight. He hurt himself last game, but no official lineup just yet. They still have a team total just barely above 5 against Jake Irvin. Arizona almost at 5 against Yuri Perez, but not quite there. The Yankees have a team total above 5. San Fran almost creeping up on 5 against the White Sox. Yankees are in Cincy. They're locked in for 9. No. Yankees are not in Cincy.
Yankees are not in Cincy.
They're not. I stand corrected. San Diego is one of the teams I liked as well in Cincy. Yankees home versus Mitch Spence have a team total above 5. But would you agree that this slate is pretty wide open? I guess the pitchers, we'll talk about the pitchers first, obviously. Pitching, I think, is a little bit more clear. 28 dudes throwing baseballs, 14 games. My pool is pretty thin. 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 guys that I'm considering. I don't make a ton of lineups, obviously. I talk about that all the time. But to me, it's the bats that are much more scattered. What is your assessment? What is your overview? How are you seeing tonight's slates?
Yeah, so I agree with your pitching sentiment. I actually finally got a chance to read the $1 Million Musings about a month and a half, 2 months in, because I usually have no time with kids and other things. And Cheese was basically just going over the higher ended pitching. And what he was saying was none of these guys are really overpriced. No one's above 10K. So there's a lot of opportunity to get to some of these guys, which can thin out your pitching pool pretty quick because you can get to Sonny Gray, you can get to Cease, Warren, Gilbert, etc. And then the bats, like you said, kind of scattered. I have a surprise team I like a little bit on the slate. I want to get too into it. Surprise game. I'm interested in. I'll save it. That's called a tease in the business.
It is called a tease. I'm excited. I was not interested. I was actually going to leave the show early, but now I'm going to stick around.
Yeah, you're sticking around. That's
I want to know.
That's good. If you don't stick around, we can always get TJ to host.
Yeah, TJ can chime in. TJ's spinning all the plates. He's still producing for us. I don't know if TJ and Spidey are awake today. If we're going to get the Spidey bombs.
We got him.
Yeah, there you go. Side note, TJ, I'm playing that Miles Morales game. It's pretty fun. I'm enjoying that.
Heck yeah. Had you played the original Spider-Man PlayStation game?
Yes. Yeah, but it was a long time ago. But I'm started playing I know I'm like 4 years behind, but it's a fun game. I'm enjoying that.
That's all right. Let me know when you get to Spider-Man 2.
All right.
Dean, you're like in your. How old are you really playing video games?
You want to say, Dean, you're in your 60s?
Well, hold on a second. You're thinking it's a statute of limitations? You can no longer play video games at a certain age, like that. Like, what's the weird age where all
at
of a sudden
some point, like you just cut off video games, you know?
No,
like I'm out on video games at this point.
No, it's a bad thing.
The last time I played one.
Happiness.
No, that's not that. That's actually torture to me to sit down and play some video games.
Well, you don't enjoy it, but like I don't enjoy crocheting. But guess what? I'm not going to besmirch people that crochet. If you enjoy it, have at it. If it makes your life incrementally more enjoyable,
you just said you're playing the Miles Morales version of Spider-Man.
Yeah. Okay. Why is that bad? I don't know what's the issue.
Spider-Man games are like some of the best action video games out there.
It's spectacular. Have you played a video game in like the last 5 years?
No, I haven't.
Well, maybe you don't realize what you're missing out on.
Who said I'm missing out?
I don't know. Maybe you don't enjoy it, which is fine. But if other people do, whatever makes you happy and it's not hurting anybody else, have a good time. Enjoy yourself. Yeah, TJ, you're going to be playing video games in your 50s, right? I assume in your 60s, in theory.
Most likely, yeah. It depends on what they like. If it's all VR at that time, and I'm broken down, maybe not. But I'll probably still be playing my old school ones then.
Ah, there you go. For nostalgia purposes, I smell a poll, TJ, just to give you more work to see if Bobby's take is correct. Is there a statute of limitations on video games? And I don't know what the actual age number would be, but all right. Yeah, I'm really excited to hear what your favorite team is on the board as well. But we should pivot and talk about some pitchers. Oh, it's also a Film Friday. We didn't even talk about that. It's a Film Friday, Bobby. I know you get excited about that. The first clue for today's Film Friday is Cheers. Cheers is today's first clue for Film Friday. If you know the answer, Bobby, don't verbalize it. Don't ruin it. Just text me in the private chat. So
it's probably something that means the opposite of cheers or cheers. It's gonna be.
What's the opposite? Boo, I guess. But boo is it's about boo is actually the word. Yeah, it's
Cheers, the show on TV.
I mean, this is not Television Tuesday. It's not Television Tuesday. So
it's a guy who's in Cheers who's in another movie.
Ted Danson. It's 3 Men and a Baby. That's the answer. That's today's answer for sure. Yeah, get your answers in the Discord channel. You get yourself a week free of RG Premium. But the first one to tell me what film I am talking about.
Someone said Call of Duty in chat, and I think Call of Duty's fine.
Well, that's a video game. That's one of the more popular video games out there.
I know.
You're making an exception,
but you're playing like Spider-Man.
Oh, it's not like a kid's thing.
Get your anger out a little bit.
No, I'm not like cursing at people online. I've never like playing with strangers. If that's your thing, have a good time, enjoy yourself. But I've not delved into that world where I just play with random dudes or people just online. But I know it's pretty popular for the Call of Duty thing. I have played before, but on mute, like I'll play with a friend, that kind of thing. but I haven't done it when you're teamed up with everybody else on mic, and that's probably a disaster.
A good friend of my brother and kid who plays RBX 88, multiple time millionaire maker winner. They play team games all the time online, and I listened in on one of them, and they chirp people pretty good.
Do you shame him for playing video games? Just
kind of. I shame both of them. Yeah.
Maybe be open to having a little bit of fun. I don't know. All right. TJ, by the way, did guess today. He's got all 5 clues. So TJ actually does know the answer. I forgot to give him the answer, but he knows it now. All right. So yeah, get in the Discord channel. Tell me the name of today's film, and you get yourself a week free of RG Premium. Have at it in the Discord channel. Overview, screenshot. Now tell me about pitchers, right? I know you were talking about Dave's article, and I happen to align with him as well. He was talking about having a very tight pitching pool today. That's where I'm at as well. Will Warren, great matchup here against the Athletics. Good strikeout matchup. Logan Gilbert, the sample is not huge, but for this season, just a crazy number of strikeouts this year. Easily the highest strikeout pitcher on the slate, 38%. I think that's somewhat skewed. That's not where he's been historically. Historically, he's around 27, 28. Really good, but not 38%. That's in 40 innings, but it's also backed up by the highest swinging strike rate at 18.6%. Awesome walks at 4.4%. The lowest Sierra as well at 2.0. And like you said, he's not that expensive. It's not the greatest matchup against Texas. Texas has some contact there. There is no Wyatt Langford. You want some righties in there. He's been much better against righties as far as striking out hitters on the season. 45.8% of righties he struck out. Again, the sample's not huge, but that's what it is. We're talking about just 3 righties in Young, Garcia, and Semien. And again, not the greatest strikeout matchup collectively. They're at 19.5%. But I still just think he's the best pitcher on the slate, and it doesn't cost you that much. So I'm prioritizing probably 2 of Warren, Gilbert, and Cease. That's my own kind of tier. That I'm going to be a little bit different as far as bats, lineup construction. We'll talk about that. But what say you? How do you feel about Warren, who's currently getting the biggest ownership projection on DK right now at 34%, Gilbert 25, Cease 24. So I'm not being different. I'm taking the chalk. I think it's pretty good chalk. There's Pepio against Baltimore, Kelly against the terrible Marlins. I know they kind of broke out last night. Sonny Gray against Cleveland with no J-Ram. J-Ram got hit in the arm last night. Soriano, who had a spike game last time out, keeps the ball on the ground. Pretty good as far as floor, unless the BABIP gets goofy. Your assessment, how are you seeing the arms tonight?
Yeah, I think Gilbert at 10K is probably the top pitcher for the majority of the slate. I'm going to lean Warren. He's going to be my highest owned versus the Athletics. I think there's a lot of strikeouts there. He just has to avoid Kurtz and Soderstrom, and I think it will work out for him pretty good. And at 8K, I just think that he's someone that he's just the best in that pricing range. So he's kind of my, he's definitely actually not kind of my favorite SP1 or SP2, I guess. But in terms of exposure, 56%, he's my highest owned guy. Gilbert Cease is in Cincinnati. I do wonder about that ballpark. Cease just has fantastic stuff, and you're getting him for 9K. So for me, I think that's fine. I like Pepio versus Baltimore. Baltimore has just been up and down, really bipolar offense all season.
Dog water.
Yeah, just hasn't been good. Some games they'll have a big score, and then other games, the majority of games, they're just flaming out. So I like Pepio in that matchup. Fine with him. Gray versus Cleveland. Weather's really good for hitting.
Yeah.
So I like the St. Louis side. I like Gray just as much. The Cleveland side, not as interested in Cleveland bats, just because I like Gray. Jose Soriano versus Washington. Really, the only 2 bats that worry me are Abrams, Wood. Josh Lowe's been hot, and that's mainly my pitcher pool. At least the top 6. Or 7, I think I gave. So, yeah.
I kind of like Gray. He was sort of on the outside looking in for me to start the day, but the absence of J-Ram is really huge. If you look at Cleveland's lineup, besides Quan, of course, Quan is feisty. You don't really want to face him because he makes a ton of contact. He's leading off, and then Angel Martinez joined the lineup hitting the 9-hole. He's kind of a contact guy to some degree, not a lot of power. But otherwise, you have Lane Thomas, you have David Fry, Nolan Jones, Bo Naylor, 27% as far as the Ks there collectively. The other issue with Gray, it lines up perfectly. So the weather's not spectacular. The other issue with him is that you don't really let him go. His pitch count is kind of subdued, and you might lose an inning. So he's sort of in the pool. I just don't know if he can drop a ceiling game. But I do think there's a chance, theoretically, that he strikes out like 8 or 9. You mentioned Warren, great matchup there against the Athletics from a strikeout perspective. His strikeouts have spiked versus righties. If you pull up the old plate IQ on the season, 36.4% Ks versus righties. That is a phenomenal number. And the Athletics can only get so left-handed. I think they have 4 in there, right? Butler, Kurtz.
They have 5 in there, 5 righties.
You sure about that?
Wilson, Rooker, Gio Urshela, McIver, and Schuerman.
Oh, okay. So I was thinking 4 lefties. Okay, yeah.
4 lefties.
You're saying the same thing.
Yeah.
So 4 lefties and 5 righties. So
he's better versus lefties or righties?
36.4% Ks against righties. Yeah. So you want as many righties as possible. The ISO at 94 versus righties as well. I mean, if somebody gets him, it's probably like one of these.
You were looking for righties. I gave you 5 righties, and then you brought up lefties, and you said there are 4 lefties.
Yeah, well, yeah, we're both correct. They add up to 9, so it's 4 lefties and 5 righties. You want as many righties as possible, and 5 is a pretty good number. If somebody's going to get him, it's probably going to be like Butler or Kurtz, like pulling one down the line or something like that. Soderstrom as well. But I do like the upside of Warren, 36.4% Ks, and some of the strikeout guys that are in there. Rooker's got a lot of power. He'll strike out a good bit. Now, some of their strikeout guys are left-handed, and the Ks aren't bad against lefties. 24%, that's pretty good too. But the field's right there, and I think it's actually pretty good chalk. Also, you probably get the win points, assuming he sticks around, long enough. You mentioned Pepio against Baltimore. That Baltimore lineup has been one of the bigger disappointments in the season. Adley Rutschman going to be out for a while, and I know Gary Sanchez has some power, but he's kind of long in the tooth, and he'll strike out a lot. 30% as far as Ks. There's 26% collectively. Everybody, with the exception of Holiday and O'Hearn, in the red to some degree when it comes to striking out. So you like Kobe Mayo in there. I'm told he's supposed to be good, but he's been horrendous so far. Not hitting for power, not hitting the ball at all. 30% as far as Ks. So, not the greatest ballpark there in Baltimore, but I think Pepio is also in play. And if I'm going to get goofy, I don't think I need it. I'm not making enough lineups, Bobby, but I still just believe in the talent of Yuri Perez. If you want to just scrape the barrel, I still think Yuri Perez is good. He's electric. His arsenal is fabulous. He hasn't quite put it all together. He's still kind of working his way back from a severe injury. But again, I don't think it's necessary. He's 5'8" on DK, and I think he can give you, if everything goes his way, 15 or 20 fantasy points. Again, I don't know if the cap is tight enough, but I would go there if I need to scrape the barrel. And I don't think he's like a nonsense pitcher. But the cheapest pitcher you're willing to roster is who? Because my answer is Perez, who's the second cheapest pitcher on the board. I don't think I'm doing it because I don't make enough lineups, but if I was, I'm willing to. Who's the cheapest pitcher you're willing to roster?
I think it's also Perez. Maybe Cade Horton. I just want to see what his salary is. He's 6,700. I would prefer Perez to Cade Horton. I think Houston can tag Horton up pretty well here. But yeah, this Houston lineup is going to strike out at a pretty high clip. So if you wanted to go up from Perez to Horton, I think he would be the next in line, I guess.
All right. As far as the umpire data, I know people like the umpire stuff. This is what we have on a Friday night. Always note this when it's brand new matchups. This stuff is open to changing. It typically doesn't, but every once in a while it will. After one game is played, you know exactly what the umpires are going to shift for the next game. That you can predict. We do have some extremes, Bobby. A lot of extreme hitters umpire. Just one extreme pitcher umpire, and it's Bill Miller. No, it's Brennan Miller. Is Brennan Miller related to Bill Miller? I don't think I've seen
probably
Brennan
his
Miller
son,
before.
Dean.
You think he taught him how to call balls? And
Like,
son, I know it's 3 feet out. That's his son. Yeah, I mean, there's probably some. It's like racing. You probably get a benefit. It's probably easier to make it through the path to get your son as an umpire. But yeah, Brennan Miller is an extreme pitcher's umpire. I guess like his dad. We're going to assume that's his dad. But only extreme pitcher there for Philadelphia and Atlanta. Extreme pitcher. And a slew of extreme hitters umpires. Extreme hitters umpire for Will Warren. Kyle Freeland. Yeah, Will Warren is an extreme hitters umpire. Kyle Freeland, David Festa, Brian Bayo, Cade Horton, Sugano, and Pepio, the Baltimore-Tampa game. Of course, Mitch Spence, Gibson Long, Quintana Barrios, and then Walter as well. So, yeah, a lot of extreme hitters umpires lurking out there. First, Spidey Bomb dropping. It's Brandon Lau. It's appropriate, speaking of Spidey, because you're getting crushed right now in the poll. The poll, is there an age limit on playing video games, Bobby? 75%. That's 3 out of 4. Did some math there on the fly. Are saying no. They're saying Bobby's
What about playing Spider-Man video games? Can we change the poll?
Oh, come on. Now, you could play Madden, but you could play Call of Duty, but you can't play Spider-Man? There are
10-year-olds online. Chirp you, Dean.
I'm not playing with 10-year-olds.
Playing multiplayer.
I'm not playing with anybody online. Just playing. I'm playing by myself at my own leisure. Checking out the Discord, by the way. Have you had anybody binking and won? I don't think so. Somebody did get streaming and a baby. There you go. That's pretty funny. It's not Coyote Ugly. It's definitely not Leprechaun in the Hood. It's been guessed multiple times, or Bring It On, or Zombieland, or
Brokeback Mountain.
It is not Brokeback Mountain, no. Or Good Will Hunting, or White Man Can't Jump. We can drop that second clue. Let's give the people the second clue. The first clue is Cheers. The second one is Library. Library is the second clue. Get in that Discord. Tell me what film I'm talking about. Get yourself a week free of RG Premium. That includes not just the baseball stuff, right? It's football, baseball, basketball, hockey. I know I say football, but there's no football this week. But, historically, if you catch it the right week. NBA, I know there's no NBA. There's WNBA. There's PGA. There's LOL, MMA. Everything with the exception of NASCAR. You want NASCAR, you got to get that a la carte. Other pitchers, anything else you want to note as far as pitching? Again, it seems like we think it's pretty clear.
So Landon Rupp at 7,300 gets the White Sox.
Mm-hmm.
They don't strike out a lot, or as much as we would want to. Well, this current lineup, but they are the White Sox. So I don't know. Rupp has an above-average K rate. I think he's at 7,600. I think he's at play if you're playing MME and stuff like that for sure versus the White Sox, the lowly White Sox team.
Yeah, the back half really strikeout heavy. What we're seeing here, the front half pretty contact heavy, but overall, like you said, not terribly imposing. Vargas has been all right. I still believe that Teal's going to be a thing at some point. He's been hitting singles, I believe, but the power hasn't quite shown. The strikeouts, though, look pretty good. You love seeing Michael Taylor in there. He strikes out a ton, 30% in the season if you're going to play Roop. I don't know how necessary he is. How many lineups are you making tonight? Have you decided on that? Or you're still figuring it out?
I'm making 150. Currently, I think I'm a little down on Roop, but
yeah,
I think he's going to be very owned, so I'll probably try to get over whatever his ownership is.
Wait, you think Roop's going to be owned?
No, I don't think he's going to be owned at all.
I gotcha. I don't think so either. Probably somewhere in the single digits. Let me see if I can find him. Yeah, 6%.
Yeah, so I'll probably take 10 to 12.
I'm looking at the blurbs here on Lineup HQ, and not just you, but Stevie. Stevie blurbed about liking Roop as well. if you're checking out one of the tags. I think, let's see, who does
Stevie knows pitching too, Dean.
He used to be a pitcher.
Yeah.
I believe he gives lessons too.
Does he?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he's talked about it before. I don't know if you want to learn how to pitch. You might be a little.
I'd throw heat, Dean. I probably throw harder than Stevie.
I don't think you do.
I'll make a bet.
Like Stevie, he's like, I think he's got a shoulder, but you're talking 85.
Yeah, we're in the 80s, Dean. We're in the 80s.
I'm pretty sure Stevie's gone over 90. Like, I'm pretty sure Stevie used to pitch over 90.
Yeah. And 90 is higher than 80, I believe. Is that last time? I'm fairly certain.
I don't know if I can hit 90.
No, you probably can't hit 90. I'm fairly certain you can't hit 90.
I think
like
I can hit like low 80s.
Okay. We didn't really talk about Cease. We kind of mentioned him in passing. What's your official take on Cease? Are you over? Are you under? Are you with the field?
I definitely prefer both Warren and Gilbert to Cease, but I feel like the field does too. Where do we see like Warren's K prop 6.5?
Mm-hmm.
Extreme pitcher. Does he have the extreme hitters umpire? He has the extreme hitters umpire. So him failing at 8.3, what is bad for Warren at 8.3? What would you say?
Like 14 points. Like it's not gonna break you, but I mean, bad is obviously like 7.
Yeah, 14 points. He's not going to be in the winner, though. Correct?
Probably not. Probably not. I mean, if Pepio beats him, which I think Pepio's got a decent shot at beating 14 points. I'm looking at a similar price.
Pepio for 300 more. I think that's an interesting flip. The more I think about it,
would you play? We'll talk about stacks in a second. You think playing athletics is interesting?
I think so, just because of the power. It's in Yankee Stadium. The power to right field between Soderstrom and Kurtz, Butler. Like these guys could tag him early, and then if he's not in line for the win, and maybe he only gets 6 Ks, he's in trouble, right? So, or Warren teams are in trouble. I think Warren's going to end up being the highest owned pitcher on the slate for sure at that price tag. So, maybe getting to Pepio ahead of him isn't the worst idea. I'm currently getting a ton of Warren, though. This is why shows are tough, Dean, because now I have to figure this out.
Well, we got an hour. When we step aside, we have an hour. I'm not sure if you have something to do right away, but
no. We got an hour.
We got an hour to figure. It's tougher for crunch time, I imagine. I was on crunch time a few times in the worst. I know world's.
I cannot do it. I cannot do it to myself.
Basketball is where it's brutal. Like, baseball, you can make work, right? Basketball, though, is just. That's the tough one when injury news is coming in the fly. But thankful that I'm not on there very often. It is certainly tricky, and I'm sure that those that are on the show have kind of figured out a way to make it work.
Someone said I'll hit 58 miles an hour and then say my arm hurts. I would bet so much money that I would throw over 58 miles an hour.
58, I think many people can throw over 58.
That's easy.
58's not. You ever see when like the shortstop comes in and the game's like 15-2 and they're like just lobbing up there? It's like 50. So like 58 is not that hard.
I'd be very surprised if I didn't hit low 80s. Very surprised.
You got to go to the ballpark. I'm sure family has, like every ballpark has the gun you can kind of throw on the side, pay like $10 and throw like 5 balls. You're aware of this?
Easily over 73.5 miles an hour.
Oh, that's the line. The official Vegas line is 73. I feel like the line's moved from 85 to 73 really fast. It just moved a lot. Sharp money was.
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if I could have got it up to 90.
Did you play organized baseball back in the day?
My whole life, yeah.
Okay. Oh, you're playing softball these days too, right?
Yeah.
Fast pitch?
Fast pitch, yep.
All right. Anything else you want to note as far as pitchers?
No, that's pretty much it. Soriano, I think, is strong as well as a value option for the Angels. It does hurt with Neto not in that lineup.
He's not officially not in, but the assumption is he's not going
to I don't think he plays, right? So
I don't think so either. Which I'm kind of excited about playing Christian Moore. I don't know if excited is the right word, but if you want to punt second base, and assuming he jumps up to the 2 spot.
Christian Moore has a home run coming because he was a home run hitter in college, as we've come to the conclusion, right?
Well, he's been hitting home runs. He had 2 the other day in the same game, a walk-off.
He had 2 the other day?
Yeah, you missed it.
I didn't play that slate.
He had a walk-off in extras, and they ripped his jersey off. And
did he have one of those monitors on him that was telling him what was coming?
That was the Altuve. No. Don't rip anything. No, I think it was clean as far as I can tell. Yeah. Anything else?
If you knew what was coming, Dean, you had like 300 swings. Do you think you could hit one out?
I mean, I don't want to be the guy that like back in the day, but like once upon a time I was a pretty good baseball hitter. But today, probably not. No, probably not. Yeah, I wouldn't say so. But once upon a time, I was a national champion playing some baseball.
Were you?
Yeah. But I was old. It's a long time ago.
Take the victory lap. What were you national championship in?
We won some national tournament in St. Louis. I don't know. It wasn't the one in Pennsylvania. It was a different one.
I went and won in Pennsylvania too. Yeah.
You went to the Pennsylvania tournament? I wasn't there for that.
I was in a AAU tournament at Penn State.
Yeah. But I was like 14 or something like that.
I was like 14 too.
And that was my peak. And then at some point I was like,
Stevie did go play minor league baseball, right?
I don't know. I know he could throw gas. He could throw
heat up there. I don't know.
Yeah. He played with Jacob deGrom.
Yeah, they're from the same hometown, I believe, in somewhere in Florida, on the outskirts of Orlando or Vito or something like that. But yeah, I think they were teammates or played in the same league or something of that sort. But anyways, let's move along. Let's get along. Let's talk about some stacks. We have 28 teams to talk about to break down and throw in some tiers. Let's see. Has anybody guessed correctly today's clue? No. There's some close. People are close. There's some good guesses. It is not The Breakfast Club or Back to the Future or Ghostbusters. There was a famous library scene in Ghostbusters, right? But it was not Ghostbusters. The third clue might get some people there. That's today's over-under, by the way. 3 is par for the field. Somebody's going to get it. I think. We'll see. 50-50 shot. Preserve is the third clue. Cheers, library, and preserve. Okay, let's talk about some stacks. Let's make some tiers. So the Oklahoma City
tiers today.
What's that?
What'd you pick for tiers?
I'm telling you right now. Yeah. So the Oklahoma City Thunder, they won the championship in the NBA. Congrats to them. So now there are 10 teams, Bobby. There are 10 teams that have still never won an NBA title. They are as follows: the Pacers, the Clippers, the Grizzlies, the Hornets, the Jazz, the Magic, the Nets, the Pelicans, the Suns, and the Wolves. And I power ranked amongst those 10 teams that are left, the teams most likely to be the next team to get off this list and win an NBA championship. Pacers, Clippers, Grizzlies, Hornets, Jazz, Magic, Nets, Pelicans, Suns, Wolves. What team do you think is most likely to win an NBA championship amongst that group? You got to pick. None of these are likely, to win next year, obviously. But if you had to pick, is there one team that pops to you? How about the chat? Does the chat have a team that pops? Maybe not. Not sure. But were you paying attention? You asked the question. I answered it. And I feel like you weren't listening. Do you have a team that stood out?
The Wolves. The Wolves.
Okay. Yeah, the Wolves did make the board. They did make the board. It's much easier to figure out like who goes in the bottom spot, right? The 5 spot. But that was today's category.
The Jazz haven't won one?
The Jazz have not won one. No. Stockton and Malone.
They've been there. They've been there, right?
They were there a couple times, right? At least once, right? And the
Hornets are probably going to be waiting forever.
Yeah, the Hornets. The Hornets. Who knows? That's probably not happening anytime soon. When was the last time they have a big time free agent signing there? It's not going to happen. But yeah, I actually have Wolves in the 2 spots. We'll go ahead and reveal the board. I put them second because I think the Magic have a better chance. Even next year, the East is wide open. There's blood in the water, right? Halliburton's hurt. Tatum's hurt. Lillard's hurt. They added Desmond Bane. I'm not saying they're going to win it, but I think they have as good a chance as almost anybody in the East. New York and Cleveland, I suppose. New York, Cleveland, Orlando, probably 1, 2, 3 in some order in the Eastern Conference. for next year at least. The T-Wolves are second. They're in the Western Conference. The West is just so much tougher. They do have Ant. You can build around Ant. You can kind of figure that out. So that's why I have them in the 2-hole. The Nets don't have a good team, but they have theoretically a place where free agents might want to go, but they have a lot of assets. They have a lot of assets, and they're under the cap, so they can sign guys. I'm not saying I like their chances, but again, have you seen the other teams I was running down? The unnamed Vegas expansion team have a better chance to win a championship first before some of these other teams. The Jazz being one of them, the Hornets being one of them. I don't know what that Vegas team is going to be called. I don't know when they're going to get into existence. Maybe within 5 years or so. LeBron probably owns a piece of them. That team that has no name and no logo and no players has a better chance of winning a championship before the Jazz do. So that's the board. That's what I got, Bobby. Any discrepancy, any issues, any gripes?
I agree. The Magic just being the Magic are going to be deep. I feel like the Magic are like a poor man's OKC. The Wolves really just have Ant. They have a lot of pieces around him, but they could lose. Who's the center there? The Nets can't draft. I don't know what the Nets were doing, and neither does Twitter. In terms of like they're drafting 3-point guards in the first round the other night with all those picks.
Maybe the Nets don't know what they're doing. I don't know. But
Vegas expansion. The one thing I don't get about I heard everyone's leaving Vegas. Like, like Vegas is dead.
No. Well, I mean, if nothing else, it's a destination place.
It's a destination place for events. Yeah, but
well, who's your favorite team? Your favorite team's the Bucks. Okay, you go travel to Vegas when the Bucks are in town. Like they're going to fill
the Athletics. Like when they get a team in Vegas, it'll be their uniforms kind of fit like the Vegas green and gold. The Jazz stink, so yeah, put the Jazz last. I will say Kirkwood said, get your Jaylen Brown MVP tickets. So my buddy's a real estate agent, and he's Jaylen Brown's real estate agent, and TJ's going to say I'm lying, but there's like a 50-50 chance he's gone. I know there's different reports today, but there's like a 50-50 chance he's gone. So,
well, your buddy is probably he wants to sell his house. Probably
he wants to sell his house.
He wants that 5% or whatever it is. I don't know if
he wants that whatever it is. Yeah. Zero chance. Kirkwood said. I think I don't know, man. What if you can get Giannis?
They've done an awesome job. Giannis is not going to be traded in the offseason. That's not happening because of what's happening in the Eastern Conference. He might get traded in the middle of the year, but they're not going to trade Giannis because Milwaukee's at least they have the best player in the conference. They don't have a lot around him.
The reports lately have been that while they aren't immediately shutting down offers for Jaylen Brown and Derek White, no one has come remotely close with an offer yet.
But they're getting a bunch of offers, correct?
Getting a bunch of offers, but nothing in anywhere near the same ballpark.
I don't think it gets moved either, but I'm not his real estate agent, so I don't have the.
Everyone's doing my 80 miles an hour. They'll be disappointed.
I want to bet under 80 miles per hour.
The perfect ones to move. There's no reason to move Jaylen Brown and Derek White. There's a chance that Tatum could come back at the end of next year, if not the year after. Like all these guys are young. It was smart. Like I agree with Kirkwood and Chad. Great job getting Simons for Drew Holiday.
100%. Awesome job.
Like, yeah, they. I don't think there's any reason to get rid of those younger guys.
I think White stays. I think if anything, it would be Jaylen. What you can get if you can get something fantastic.
If you can get like a young up and coming, very good player and like 7 first-round picks, then like.
What if I can get Giannis? If I can get Giannis, I'm doing it.
I would do it for Giannis, yes, but I don't think that's. We'll see. All right. By the way, we did get that Angels lineup. Neto not in, and Moore is in the 8-hole. Rengifo is leading off for the Angels. Rengifo, Shanwell, Trout, Ward, Adele, Ohapi, Wade, Moore, and then Kevin Newman. Still waiting for the Marlins. Still waiting for Washington. I don't think we have Texas. Langford not expected to play. He's dealing with. I think he's got a side. I think that's his body part. Otherwise, every other lineup I think is in, right? We have pretty much all of them. Okay, let's throw some teams in some tiers. First game we're going to talk about here, Bobby. 7:05 start on the East Coast. Tampa Bay Rays at Baltimore. Sugano taking on Ryan Pepio. Where are we throwing one of the hottest teams in all of baseball, if not the hottest? The Rays and the O's.
Yeah. So for Tampa Bay, I don't know. I'm in a Pepio tonight. They're in Baltimore. If I had to put Tampa in any category, it'd probably be the Nets. Like Aranda, like Caminero. I know they've been red hot, but I think I'm still just getting to them in the middle tier there.
You got the Rays and the Nets. I'm sorry, where did you put the Orioles?
Orioles will be Vegas expansion team.
Tell me in chat, like, what should the name of the Vegas expansion team be? Well, what should that name
be? The Dealers.
The Las Vegas Dealers. Yeah, all right. I know the baseball expansion team, at least they used to be the 51s, the Vegas 51s, in honor of Area 51. That's already taken if that's what you wanted. But what should the basketball? No, the baseball.
Kirkwood has an interesting name basketball in chat.
Oh, I'm sure it's worth repeating for sure. Yeah, there you go. It's kind of wordy. It's a little wordy. It's not. It's maybe to the Vegas Blackjacks. Yeah, they're okay.
Maybe the experience, Dean, because it's all about the experience now in Vegas.
Yeah. The Vegas stays here. The Vegas stays here. Yeah. All right. I knew I'd get some fun answers there. Very serious answers in the chat. The Yeti's a good one. That's Utah almost became the Yeti for hockey, but they went against that.
How did they go Mammoth over Yeti? Just doesn't make any sense.
Yeti was right there.
Yeti is really right there.
Athletics are facing the Yankees. It's Will Warren, most popular pitcher on the slate. That's where we're seeing it right now. Even on FanDuel, we didn't talk about FanDuel. FanDuel's prices, distinctly different, distinctly cheap enough that he's going to be the most popular pitcher over there as well. Las Vegas Ace is already taken. That's the WNBA team, is it not? I believe it is. I'm fairly certain it is. Yeah, so Mitch Spence is throwing baseballs versus the Yankees. Yankees have one of the biggest totals on the board, minus 267. Yeah, where are we putting New York and the Athletics?
The Yankees, for me, can go in the Wolves category. Spence really needs to watch out for Ben Rice, Jazz Chisholm, Grisham, the lefties, obviously Aaron Judge. The Athletics, I'm warming to the Athletics, especially, like I said, more lefties, Kurtz, Soderstrom, Butler. We'll throw the Athletics in the Nets category.
You mentioned Ben Rice. Disrespectful to bat him seventh. Like, what are we doing? Seventh? Giancarlo Stanton fourth? Like, what has Giancarlo Stanton done to bat in front of Ben Rice?
He's just been terrible. He's just been terrible. Yeah.
I don't get it. I feel
You're
like
paying a lot of money to be a softball player.
Says the softball player.
Says the softball player, yeah.
Where did you put the Yankees? They're on the board, aren't they? I just can't
see.
Vegas
Spearmint Rhinos. Yeah, that's a good one.
I mean, it's a little specific.
I spent a night in the Spearmint Rhino.
I'm sure you have the entire night.
Good time, yeah.
Do you remember most of it or half of it?
Half of it. Not the whole night, yeah, but
yeah.
Eventually, yeah.
It all kinds of blend. It becomes that hangover scenario. All right.
You ever been the Spearmint Rhino, Dean? I think we've had this conversation.
I'm aware of the existence. It's possible I have been, but I'm not playing coy. It would never be my idea to, but I would if that's what everybody else is doing, sure. But I don't know if I have that specific one. I can't speak to that. But I did. I've been to Vegas plenty, and I lived there, so
you just missed it. Yeah.
No, I'm aware of it. I know it. Yeah. All right.
You just didn't go. No, I get it.
Yeah, you know what? I was busy going to the Thunder from Down Under, according to Kirkwood, my favorite live show out there in Vegas. Pepio taking on Sugano. We already talked about that. Let's talk about the Padres. The Padres and Cincy, 4.66 team total, taking on the Reds. Cease versus Nick Martinez. We like the ballpark environment here for homers. It's going to be hot as well in the 90s. Is this a little bit different as far as the starting lineup? Have I missed this? Have they been doing this more lately? Arise leading off, Machado, Merrill, and Tatis batting fourth. I feel like that's different.
Yeah, it just started a couple days ago. Might meet in just yesterday.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of threw me off there, kind of staring at the lineup. But I do like the Padres a good bit, locked in for 9 here. Great ballpark. Your take. Where are we throwing San Diego and Cincy?
Padres is my number one stack on the board, Dean.
Is this the big surprise?
category. I just think Nick Martinez, they don't really want to pitch him. He hasn't been great. I think this is kind of a start just because they haven't worked the new kid who struck out 6 Yankees the other day into the rotation fully, because I think they sent him down or they put him in the bullpen or something, and now he's just starting randomly. So I really like San Diego. The last time Luis Arias hit a home run, I think, was in Cincinnati.
When was that? Actually, he's got a couple this year, right?
Yeah, he's got a couple this year, but I remember distinctly one of them was in Cincinnati. He only has a handful. So I like Machado, like Merrill, like Tatis, like Sheets. Trenton Brooks is fine on the back end there. So yeah, Cronenworth's there.
Do we like Brooks, or is like that he's cheap? Because I was looking at him. He's like 30 years old. He's not a prospect. He's shown a little bit of power in the minors. He's cheap.
He's shown a little power, and he's getting the Great American Small Park Dean. We can work with it. It's my favorite stack, like I said. So
when you said you had a big surprise as your favorite stack, is this you were talking about the Padres?
It isn't. No.
Okay.
It's up there though. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't say it's my stack that I'm getting the most of. My favorite stack is not.
Okay, because I was going to say I don't think they're like that's
according to everything I'm running. I should be getting a lot of San Diego.
Yeah, I mean, ownership's going to be well spread out tonight. Obviously, so many teams, so many games, but I think they're going to be one of the more popular teams.
You should probably rank the Reds too. Correct.
Say it again.
You should rank the Reds. Throw the Reds in Vegas expansion team.
Yeah, we're ranking all the teams.
Yeah, I forgot to rank the Reds.
Yeah. I'm not really loving Cincinnati.
Either. They could go in Jazz. Do you want to put them in Jazz?
No. I think they're right. I think you put them in the right spot.
Okay.
You put them in the right spot.
I thought you were questioning me.
No, not at all. And this is your board. Every once in a while I'll chime in, but you make the final decision.
Mm-hmm.
We're in Detroit. It's Sawyer, Gibson, Long taking on David Festa. Minnesota's a lot of cheap players, a lot of cheap stuff that kind of help make stuff work. I think it make for an interesting mini. Besides Buxton, like Larnick is cheap, Castro is cheap, Brooks Lee always cheap, Cody Clemens, he's got some power versus the righties. He's cheap. So I think they're one of the places to go for a cheap power source. It is going to be pretty hot in Detroit as well in the 80s, the high 80s. Festa, you can certainly get to him here at the lefty power of Carpenter and Green. Where are you at as far as Detroit and Minnesota?
This is the game. This is the game that I teased.
Minnesota?
Here. No, both Detroit and Minnesota. Detroit's probably my favorite stack on the night, my actual favorite stack. You can throw them in the Magic. I like Carpenter. I like Green. I like this whole lineup versus Festa. Probably other than Keith, because Keith might have pinch hit risk. I haven't done my due diligence, but I would imagine that he does. Dingler, Perez, Torkelson. I really like Detroit. Minnesota, throw them in the Wolves category. Buxton, Larnick, Wallner, Cody Clemens, like all these guys. Good hitting weather. Correa. I'm in on this game. I like it for game stacks, just like it in general.
According to Derek Hardy's The Bat, Keith has a 30% chance pinch hit risk. I do want to see Minnesota. I'm pulling up their bullpen. How many lefties are lurking in that bullpen? There are two. Joey Wentz. I think Wentz is kind of more of a long man. He threw 36 pitches on Monday. And then there's Danny Column, who threw 16 pitches yesterday. Otherwise, he's well rested. So both probably available. That's probably the likely scenario where we'd see Keith get out of the lineup. There are two lefties. I mean, I agree with you. I think there's some pretty decent pinch hit risk. Probably would only play Keith in a stack scenario. I don't like him as a one-off. You have any thoughts on that? Is that kind of what you're expecting, 30% pinch hit risk for him?
Yeah, 30%. He's leading off. I guess you can play him at it. I'm probably going to leave him in, but yeah. I don't know. He's the leadoff hitter, my favorite stack, so probably going to end up leaving him in.
What are we saying here in the chat? Nathan Eovaldi out. Is he not throwing baseballs today now? Is that why we don't have a Texas lineup? Is Eovaldi no longer the starter? We've got to get an update on that.
Twitter up.
I think that's fake news.
Okay.
Maybe because we didn't really go over Eovaldi versus Seattle.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. But yeah, I mean, they don't have a lineup yet, but I'm not really sure what's going on. I mean, still 2 hours until that game starts, so nothing really to be concerned with. Fourth clue, by the way, in Film Friday, the fourth clue. I think we already have a winner. I'm pretty sure we have a winner, but we're going to be playing out the string. We got par, as anticipated, 3. 3 was par. Somebody's going to get it. Fourth clue was Halloween. We're just doing this for funsies now. Toronto taking on Boston. No Vladdy tonight for the Blue Jays. Jose Barrios taking on Brian Bayo. No Vlad for Toronto. Certainly weakens that lineup. It's pretty cheap, but the team total barely hits 4. It's pretty cool in Boston tonight, and it looks like in the 60s. Red Sox are the slight favorite here versus Barrios. I don't have a lot this game. I hope it's pretty quiet. What say you for Toronto and Boston?
Vegas expansion team, pretty much in the same boat. Don't really love much from this game on the Toronto side. I think Springer's fine. Barger. No Vlad really hurts this lineup, like you said. On the Red Sox side, Durant, Abreu, Marcelo Mayer. That's really it.
Are you excited about the youth movement in Boston? I know you're a big homer of your Boston teams.
I don't like how they manage the whole situation. Just like I feel like they brought Christian Campbell up too early to kind of block Devers, so they couldn't say, "Oh, we'll put Bregman at second." And they just basically it was just like writing on the wall for Devers. And then they just.
Do we ever get your Devers take? Are you fine with it? Are you hoping they repurpose that money for somebody else? Is that the assumption? That they're going to buy somebody?
I doubt they'll repurpose it just because they're extremely cheap.
It's embarrassing.
They'll take all your money to go to a game, though. I like Devers. I don't know. I think Devers was fine. Would have been nice if he played first. Kind of not the greatest third baseman. I think they did him wrong with how they signed Bregman, and they basically originally said Bregman was playing second, and I think they did him a little bit wrong. So,
by the way, Mayer's not in the lineup tonight for Boston. Just a heads
he's not in the lineup.
No, Duran, Toro, Anthony, Story, Abreu, Rafaela, Hamilton, Wong, and Sogard. So there's another Sogard. It's like Sarsgaard, another Sogard. Let's talk about St. Louis. St. Louis and Cleveland, 8.5 total. Luis Ortiz throwing baseballs for Sonny Gray. It's going to be hot in Cleveland. You mentioned it. Let me see what Weather Edge has to say. Earlier in the day, it was liking it a good bit. You should also mention Detroit. Weather Edge likes Detroit. 88 is the temp. It's kind of a crosswind, but there is a fire emoji there and kind of a bump in the 94 previous games. A bump in homers at 16%. Not a huge bump in Cleveland as far as runs in the 50-game sample, but it's going to be hot, and a bump as far as homers, 3.3%, but 13% bump in runs, 10-mile-per-hour winds, basically to center field, right center. We did mention earlier that J-Ram is out. He got hit in the hand, so he's not playing. He might be available to pinch hit, which doesn't help you out, obviously. It makes your stack even worse because there's a chance one of your guys gets a hook. But, yeah, I don't like Cleveland. St. Louis is interesting, I suppose. There's some cheap pieces, similar to Minnesota. I think there's some cheap pieces in St. Louis. How about yourself? Where do you have the Cardinals and the Guardians?
Yeah, I like the St. Louis bats. Put them in the Wolves category, especially the lefties, Burleson, Newbar, Gorman. I think these guys are all interesting. Donovan leading off. Like St. Louis a good bit. On the Cleveland side, like not getting too much of Cleveland. May have changed if J-Ram was in there, but I think I have maxed one of these Cleveland guys versus Sonny Gray. So, yeah.
By the way, fellow Bostonian in chat, KirkDiese is saying he's confident that Boston is going to spend. They're going to spend money. So
when, though? They're going to lose this year and then just
I'll believe it when I see it.
What can they get in the offseason?
I don't know. I'm not sure, but that's what Kirkwood's saying. And he's got his finger on the pulse. His gardener is actually the agent for John Henry. So he knows. All right, let's talk about Philadelphia and Atlanta. 9.5 total. That's Bryce Elder versus Mick Abel. Atlanta's total, I feel like you're big on this kind of thing, and I feel like I've noticed this, Has this total kind of crept up throughout the day? You're always big on team totals and moving throughout the day. I feel like that's jumped up against the rookie Abel, almost a 5.5, 5.37 total for Atlanta. It's going to be hot, not scalding, but hot, and winds blowing out to subtly to left center. Where do you have the Phillies and the Braves on your board?
Yeah, Braves are going to go on the Magic show. We like the Braves versus McAbel. I feel like McAbel's kind of been the league is figuring McAbel out a little bit. Like Acuna, like Olsen, Riley, Baldwin, Ozuna. I think those guys make sense. I think as low as I would go as Albies. I don't really Verdugo, Michael Harris, Nick Allen. I just don't really love those guys.
Are we sure Albies doesn't just kind of stink?
Him and Harris, I think both stink, but
Harris has been bad, and the analytic stuff, like you dive in, it's not good. I still like Harris long term, but it's been bad so far this year. Small sample stuff, by the way. You mentioned Abel, really distinct as far as the splits. Grain of salt, 55 bats to lefties, 41 versus righties, but the lefties, 385 ISO, 409 WOBA, just getting smashed by lefties. So I think, if somebody jumps off the page, it is Matt Olson for the Braves. But again, it's small sample stuff. Just note that. Being told that apparently Langford is headed to the IL. We didn't think he was going to play tonight, but I guess Texas shall probably release their lineup momentarily. Again, no Texas, no Washington, no Marlins. We got everything else as far as lineups. We can drop that fifth clue for fun. It is Cheers is number one, Library, Preserve, Halloween, and the fifth clue, this really gets you home. This should get you there, is Egypt. Egypt is the fifth clue for today's Film Friday. Shout out to Jay Swift, multiple-time winner, taking it down. We'll tell you the answer soon enough. About 10, 15 minutes crunch time coming in.
Like the Mummy or something?
It is like the Mummy or something. There you go. Look at you, Bobby. Look how casual you are.
I never got.
Look at you. There, take the victory lap. Yeah.
How does Cheers add into the Mummy?
Well, it's clue number one, which is not always the perfect clue. But since you brought it up, I'll tell you the answers. Clue number one is Cheers. Cheers had a very famous spin-off show, Frasier, right? You remember Frasier, Kelsey Grammer? You've heard of Frasier, right?
I've heard of it, yeah. I know who Kelsey Grammer is. I never
Who
watched.
Who stars in The Mummy?
Kelsey Grammer?
No, it's Brendan Fraser.
Brendan
Fraser.
Okay, yeah.
Brendan Fraser is the star of The Mummy. Clue number two was Library. There's a pretty famous scene from The Mummy where Rachel Weisz knocks over every single bookcase. Do you remember this? If you've ever seen the movie, you probably recall one of the more famous scenes in the movie. There's a big library scene. Preserve, when the mummies, you're preserving the organs. I think you're preserving the entire body, right? That's my understanding. I've never mummified anything.
If you were to go, Dean, would you want to be mummified?
What do you mean if? It's a certainty. That's a lock for sure. Much more than you throwing the ball over 87 miles per hour. No, I don't think so. No, I don't. Why would I want to be mummified? I
could see you being a guy that wants to be mummified.
What about me says that?
I don't know.
No. I just throw me in a box. It's fine. There's no need to. I haven't, not to get all dark about it, but big ashes, and that's fine. Let's not make a big scene. Let's make it easy. Halloween. It's kind of a classic Halloween costume, right? Do you want to get mummified? Is that what you're asking? Is that something you want to do?
No.
Do you have a tomb that you've already rented? You've already paid for the space?
No. I don't want to think about that stuff, Dean.
You brought it up. Halloween was the fourth clue.
I think you're getting up there, so I was just wondering.
I'll play video games.
If I had to make any decisions on your behalf, I'd just like to know.
Thank you. Save this video for if I don't officially put it in writing. The fifth clue is Egypt. Of course, the Mummy takes place in Egypt. All right, so there you go. There's today's Film Friday. Again, shout out to, I think it was Jay Swift 13 who took it down. Actually selected Scores and Odds. Yeah, you can get Scores and Odds. It's dealer's choice. Scores and Odds content
Second win of the week for Jay Swift. One tweet Thursday, tweet Wednesday, and then a film Friday.
He's definitely using AI. It's the only explanation.
No one has succeeded doing that. Like people try that all the time, and they're pretty consistently
doesn't
wrong.
work.
What performance enhancer?
Too tough.
What, you just got it? What do you mean they're too tough? You literally just got the answer.
Yeah, first time in 4 years. How long have you been doing this?
I don't know. Were you using a performance enhancer, or that was all natural?
Yeah, maybe a performance enhancer.
We got to pick up the pace here. We have some more games to go. We have crunch time coming in about 10-ish, 15 minutes or so, give or take. We knocked out the Phillies and the Braves, the Giants and the White Sox. Aaron Savali, he demanded a trade. They threw him to the White Sox. Taking on Landon Roop. The Giants do have a team total of about 5. They're on the road. Big ballpark upgrade, of course. Everything's a ballpark upgrade for San Fran. The wind is blowing out. It's hot. Again, big total for San Fran, closing in on 5. Where are you putting the Giants and the White Sox?
Yeah, so the White Sox are going to go in Jazz, and the Giants are going right where TJ put them in Magic. Really like Ramos, Devers, Yastrzemski, Willy Adames. Really interested in the Giants stack tonight. White Sox, just perennial, just not the greatest team that we've seen. So back in the Jazz category.
All right, let's move along. Next game up is Seattle and Texas. Nathan Eovaldi throwing baseballs against Logan Gilbert. Logan Gilbert, probably the best pitcher on the slate, certainly the biggest K rate. It's a little skewed in a small sample. It's close to 40%. That's not going to sustain. But as far as Eovaldi, I'm not really going there either, but I'm not picking on him either. Coming off the IL, at least we're expecting him to come off the IL today. Gilbert also the lowest Sierra, so a 7 total here in Texas. I didn't check, but I presume the roof is closed here in Globe Life, in Globo Gym. But the total would speak to that. It's got to be too hot in Texas, right? Seattle and Texas, where are you at on the Mariners and the Rangers?
So TJ's taking it upon himself to be a part of the show, and he's correct.
Oh.
Texas and
I'm always supposed to guess where they go. That started with Steve.
Okay.
He likes to play his own game. Yeah, he's not trying to force your hand. It's not like
he's trying to step on toes. Have at it, TJ. Have at it.
So TJ, was he correct? Where TJ threw the?
He was correct. Yeah, he was correct.
There you go.
There aren't bats that I'm really targeting from either of these teams.
What about Kyle Freeland taking on Jose Quintana? 8.5 total. Milwaukee does have a team total of 5. Just above 5 here in Milwaukee. Colorado 3.5 here against Quintana. We still what's wrong with their catcher? Goodman is out again? Is he hurt? I haven't seen an injury. Maybe I've missed that, but I believe he hasn't played the last couple days. So maybe he is actually hurt. Yeah, that's weird that they wouldn't play him in back-to-back days if he's fine, but I'm not seeing him in the lineup today. You tell me, where are we throwing the Rockies and the Brew Crew?
Rockies, we can throw them in the Nets category. Really Beck, Moniak, Toglia. I think those guys are okay. Brewers, yeah, TJ got it right again. Throw them in the Wolves. Like the Brewers a good bit. Churio, Yelich, Reese Hoskins for sure. Think he goes yard tonight. William Contreras. So I like the Brewers a bunch.
We got a second Spidey Bomb. Gavin Sheets. TJ got him at plus 425 there for San Diego. Also, an updated Toronto lineup, and Vladdy's now in. I'm not sure what happened. I'm not sure who got bumped out, but we're seeing Vladdy in now. Bichette, Berger, Vladdy, Kirk, Springer, Lukes, Clement, Jimenez, and Clase. That is your Toronto lineup. Bumped. Who did?
Rodin.
Okay, that's obviously an upgrade. Yeah. All right, the Cubbies.
I think that bumps up Toronto to me to the Nets category versus Bello.
All right. Cade Horton versus Brandon Walter. Real pitchers throwing real baseballs tonight. The Cubs and the Astros, 8 total. Thoughts?
Yeah. Chicago, Kyle Tucker revenge. So I have to include that model.
Is this first blood? Is this his first time back?
Rome and the Wolves, TJ, Houston, yep. TJ's got it. Like TJ's on point. So
You guys are simpatico. You guys are linked up for sure.
Tucker, Suzuki. I don't mind PCA versus the lefty, like whatever. Everyone was saying to play Walter the other day, and I was saying stack against Walter. I think this was on Saturday, and I was right. The Angels put up 9 runs. I think they were on the winner.
Scoreboard.
Yeah, I do it on the back of my head. So I'm fine with playing PCA, fine with playing Hap, Horner. Like, I like Chicago a good bit. Houston side, mainly Christian Walker. Actually, Christian Walker, Pena, Paredes, Altuve, they're all fine. Just don't love the offense. I would probably redo it and put them in nets, but yeah. We'll go with TJ's recommendation.
I like Paredes a little bit because at third base, positionally, I know they'll go positionally in crunch time, but I really like, either Devers or Machado, but Paredes is like the pivot off the pivot. So, I love him in that ballpark. Obviously, Horton, I believe, is like neutral as far as his splits. We love guys he can just, rip the ball down the line on and get a cheap homer with the old Crawford boxes. We got to get a standing ovation for Tucker, right? And they're going to get a video and all that. We got to get that, right? They don't dislike him. It's not his fault he was traded away. I assume he gets a big ovation.
I don't think they want to acknowledge it, so maybe not.
I think he gets a big ovation. He has to. At least he should.
He'll get an ovation from the fans. Yeah, for sure.
They miss him. And Jordan Alvarez, again, the Astros are lying about injuries. They've done this before. They did this with Kyle Tucker last year. They're big liars, that organization. They do not tell you the truth with what's going on with their players that are injured. Dustin May is taking on Noah Cameron. Dodgers have a team total of about 5. Noah Cameron's got good raw numbers, but I think he's pretty fraudulent. Although I don't, obviously the ballpark jumped from Coors, where the Dodgers were, now to Kansas City. Kansas City, the worst ballpark this year as far as getting homers. I don't think the Dodgers are really going to get played, but you always can. They put up 10 runs and hit 4 homers. Are you surprised? Probably not. Royals and Dodgers, where are you throwing them on the board?
There's so many teams on this board. I just feel like we're overdoing it with how many teams I have up top. Throw the Dodgers and Wolves. It's just this 14 games, so a ton of teams. Yeah, I know Noah Cameron's a bit good. It's still the Dodgers. Ohtani, Betts, Teoscar, Will Smith, like Edman go down the board. So I don't want to not put the Dodgers where I think they should go just because we have a ton of teams up here.
2 more games to go. Oh, go ahead, Bobby. Sorry.
Yeah, and then Royals, throw them in Vegas expansion. Not a ton of love for the Royals.
We have no Washington lineup just yet. Like you said, the two hitters you really kind of fear is C.J. Abrams and James Wood. James Wood is just incredible. If there is a next Aaron Judge, it's James Wood. I don't know if there is going to be one, but if there is going to be one, it's James Wood from the right side, obviously, the left side. Anyways, who likes to stack against Jose?
Did you see the parlay the other day with Josh Bell hitting that home run?
No, I didn't see this.
Was that talked about? We haven't talked about that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
One of the people who just like fires out insane home run parlays every day on Twitter, like somebody with a lot of following, I don't know who it was, hit one that a lot of people were following, and FanDuel put out a statement like adjusting their rules, being like, if we find people working as a group instead of working together, we reserve the right to not pay you.
What?
Yeah.
That's outrageous.
You haven't seen this on Twitter? You're on Twitter all day. If you're not
on
video games, you have not seen this?
I'm not on Twitter all day, but I'm just
you're on Blue Sky now. I forgot.
They're happy to take the money when the parlay doesn't hit. It's like, yes, group, bet on the same thing that fails. Please give me your money. Give me your money for free. But the one time it hits, we can't let that happen. I don't. Now you're getting me started. I didn't know this, but now I'm going to seek it out just to anger myself. But they're going to honor the bets, right? I assume they're going to honor the bets. But now going forward, what are they going to say? This is too popular of a 5-homer parlay, so no. Swap somebody out.
Nick in chat is saying that it was like just a coincidental thing and it had nothing to do with it. It's due to tax or fraud related stuff in the TCs. I don't know what TC is.
Terms and services? No.
I don't know. But he said it was not related to the parlay, but it did happen that they lost like $2.9 million that day or something like that.
Okay, but you know how much money they make on parlays other days? They're going to be all right. Anyways, let's knock out these last two games. I know crunch time's coming in here soon. Soriano against Irvin. Angels are without Neto. Certainly weakens their lineup. Rengifo is sitting at the top there with Sean Well, Trout, Ward, Adele, Ohapi, Ward, Wade, Moore, and Newman. So there's some real nonsense players, but the good ones are good for the Angels. I prefer lefties against Irvin too. Really kind of bummed that Moore is not hitting higher in the lineup, but it is what it is. And you tell me, Washington, Angels, what do you got?
Yeah, Washington, I'd put in Vegas expansion team. TJ Asman, Jazz, Abrams, and Wood are like the only hitters I like. And for the Angels, throw them in nets. Still like some of these Angels. You have them that high, TJ? Really?
Yeah, they're my number 3 stack today.
Wow.
They're just super cheap, and I love the top half of the order.
Even with Neto not there?
Yeah, that makes me like them better. Trout, Ward, Shanuel, Adele, Ohapi, and Rengifo. Like they're my 3rd highest owned stack behind San Fran and San Diego.
Yeah, I like Trout, Ward, Adele, Ohapi. For me, I'd probably put them in nets. Or Wolves, I guess. I'd leave them in nets. Yeah, that's mainly those two teams, right? Yeah. That's the analysis.
Bobby, get some Bobby bombs on layaway. I'm going to ask for that at the end when I recap the board with the last game. It's Miami. Miami taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks. Uri Perez versus Merrill Kelly. 8 total out there in the desert. No Miami lineup just yet. Obviously, still no Corbin Carroll for Arizona. Significantly weak in that lineup. But, yeah, what do you have? D-backs and Marlins, where do they fit on this board?
Marlins way at the bottom. Stowers is probably the only bat like I have any interest in. Terms of Arizona, I don't have much Arizona either. Probably throw Arizona in the Nets category.
Arizona going in the middle. All right, let's give a recap to the board. Crunch time coming in here shortly. Again, today's category, if you're joining us late.
Someone's making fun of calling it Bobby Bombs, Dean, in chat. Jay,
what should I call it?
I have no idea. What is
Bobby
Bombs already used? Like, yeah.
I don't know. Do you want something to do with Roscoe? I saw Tim's cat yesterday went 1 for 1, so that's going to stick. Roscoe's Rockets. Is there an animal lurking that you can play off that name? I don't know. What was that song you were singing to start the show?
Blippy Bombs.
Whatever you want to call it, man. Whatever you want to call it is going to get you there. Gomes Goners? That's pretty good. Gomes Goners?
Yeah. It's tough. No? Leave it Bobby Bombs for now.
Okay. Fair enough. We'll put a pot of coffee on and we'll figure this out.
Everyone's saying I can't throw in the 80s, and now it's got up to 90. I never said I could hit 90.
You claimed 90 at one point. You walked it back all the way to
I
73.
did when I was younger. I could hit it. Yeah.
I could do a lot of things when I was younger too. A lot of us could
easily over 80. Easily over 80. Not even.
I'll take the under. I'll take under 80. Can you go to a Boston game and get the gun and figure it out? Like the average of like 5 pitches.
Get a gun and we can do this live. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, whatever the average is. I don't want to know your max velocity. You're gonna blow your arm out in one pitch. Can we average like the 5 pitches that you have, something like that? Is that the way to figure it out? Is that a fair way to do it?
No, the one pitch, because I have to get it over 80.
You're gonna blow your arm out. All right, number 1 on the board in the Magic category. The Magic, by the way, the team most likely to win a championship in the NBA that's never won one. There's 10 teams that have never won a championship. The Magic, the most likely team to get off that list after OKC just got off that list. Second team is the Wolves. Third team is the Nets. Fourth team, Vegas expansion team that does not yet exist. And the last team is the Jazz. In the Magic category, it's Detroit, Atlanta, San Fran, San Diego. The Wolves have the Yankees.
I love how no one thinks I can hit 80. I love how no one thinks I can hit it.
Well, then just smash the over on it. I'll slide in the DMs.
I would smash the over on it.
All right, make it. This is a money-making venture. Other teams in the Wolves: Minnesota, St. Louis, Philadelphia, Milwaukee, the Cubs, the Dodgers, The Nets, they have 6 teams. It's Arizona. It's the Angels. Toronto. By the way, Vlad is back in. If you missed it, he was out. Now he's back in. Colorado, Athletics, and the Rays. In Vegas expansion team, it's Baltimore, Cincinnati, Boston,
63
Seattle.
max, dude. You're nuts.
I'm trying to recap the board here.
I'm sorry. I want to go. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to throw.
I mean, when was the last time, could we get any inside information? The last time you threw a baseball with some heat?
I don't know. I have to throw a softball hard. When
5 years?
It's been a while.
Yeah. Unless you're just trying to like sandbag and just, get more people sliding the DMs.
I have a good arm. I have a really good arm. This is what I'm saying. Like they wouldn't be making this bet.
Vegas expansion team has Baltimore, Cincinnati, the Boston Red Sox, Seattle, Houston, KC, Washington. Hanging out with the Jazz is Cleveland, Chicago. That's the White Sox, Texas, and the Marlins. We need some Bobby bombs, some Gomes goners. Who's going yard tonight, Bobby?
Fernando Tatis. I think he'd be number 1 for me. Who else? Let's go to an Angel. So I know TJ let's go Logan O'Hoppe. Further down the board. I want to say Gleyber Torres from that Detroit team that I like a good bit. I like Gleyber. Could say Riley Green, but we'll go Gleyber. Who else? Let me see. Give one more. Matt Olson.
Love the Matt Olson call. All right, let's do it. It's bringing crunch time. They're coming out right now. They're fully assembled. Chief Mineralogist Kevin Roth, Dave Potts, CheeseIsGood, leader of Juggalo Nation. It's KirkDiese himself. It's crunch time. Here we go, right now. By the way, today's poll question. Oh, wait, Roth, you have something to say? It sounds like you want to chime in and say something. What do you got?
It feels very much like I could run a 4-5. I could run a 4-5.
Roth, this is.
He said that too. He said that too a couple months ago.
I'm a good athlete. What do you want me to say? Roth says he's like this phenomenal basketball player. Like,
well, he knows he's not going to be in the NBA.
But those are skills. Those are skills. You're an old man who can't run fast and throw hard anymore. It's for you and I. We're too old. We're dusted.
Zinger!
It's over, Bobby. It's over. You had a good run.
Bam! Glory days. They're behind us, man.
His other hot take, Roth, and I don't know if you're in the chat. The chat says significantly against Bobby. I don't want to put you to a decision point here, but is there an age limit on playing video games? Do you think Bobby says there should be an age limit on playing video games?
Not at all.
That's like saying there's an age limit to watching movies. Like you're allowed to whatever your own thing is that you do on your own free time, man. Video games, movies, art, whatever you want to do, man. That's fine.
Can I just warn you guys something? Roth, if you said that to Bobby's face in real life, he would have punched you.
I believe it. He had that look. Yeah, he had that look. Marty says Bobby's younger than he did.
That isn't true at all. Don't listen to anything Kirkwood says.
I'm old.
You guys see each other in real life, though, on occasion, right? You can kind of throw rocks.
Bobby's threatened to fight me like 4 times, and
this was one night we were out,
and it wasn't, and I didn't do anything.
Kirkwood wanted to make like a sly joke and sneak it in there, and yeah.
I called him the architect because it said that in his. I said you're an architect because it was in his profile, the architect of the greatest lineup, yada yada yada.
And you threatened to punch him?
It set him off. He wanted to fight me, and like.
Oh my God! Here we go.
I always wanted to pretend to be
like
architect.
this mean drunk. I'm like the nicest drunk there is. Kirkwood was zinging me other ways too.
All right. Anything else we should focus on before we slide out of here and get to Ross weather report? But I'm not sure. You're probably on top of it, Ross. But somebody in chat, I guess, boots in the ground.
I've never been hit this hard by chat in my life. They're calling me Uncle Rico for saying I could throw over 80. I like chat. I was a man of the people for a long time.
Could we get the graphic department to put the Bobby's face on Uncle Rico? That'd be spectacular for next show. Once upon a time, Bobby. We all had our moments, but you know what? Show the people. You said you're going to go to the game.
We've played catch. Could I hit over 80 on?
I'd say I don't know. You'd have to tune up a little bit. I think you're definitely. I mean, you're in decent shape. You're definitely athletic. He can throw a football like Uncle Rico. could back in the day.
Throw it
And,
over those mountains.
I wouldn't bet against him throwing over 80 at this point.
There you go. Thank you. Kirkwood's a very good gambler. He wouldn't bet against me throwing over 80. That's all I'm saying.
I think it's possible, but I'd have to see. I'd have to do a little more research.
Yeah.
There you go. I want to see it. I'm not doubting it. I just want to see it. Go to Fenway and you can throw like 5 pitches in the gun and take Kirkwood with you. Don't get in any fights. Just have a good time. But all right, we got to step aside and get out of here. You got 40 plus minutes of crunch time. It's Dave Potts. It's Kevin Roth. It's Kirkwood. Roth, take it away.
Yeah,
Good stuff. As always, welcome to it, ladies and gents. You know the drill. It's crunch time. It's 2 of the sharpest minds in the industry. Going to take you up to lock. We might take you through lock. I don't know. We might ask how hard Cheese can throw. Cheese was a pitcher once upon a time. I made that up.
It's true. It's true. But like the last time I was 12.
Okay. I thought it was true, but I wasn't quite certain.
That's why they call him
Cheese. A goalie? I don't know why in my head I'm thinking you were a goalie.
Oh, I was a way better goalie than pitcher. Yeah.
I thought I remember.
I was a legitimate goalie. I was not a legitimate pitcher.
Okay. Well, we need to score a goal. We need to take some dubs. We need to win some tournaments. How are you feeling about this slate, Cheese? And how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm feeling okay about the slate. It's one of those. Every offense is great and very playable, and we have just a couple chalk pitchers and just all over the place with the bat. So it's kind of like it's hard not to feel like your lineups are good, but it's hard to imagine how they're really any better than anyone else's.
Yeah, but that's way more fun than the other way where you're like,
yeah,
everybody sucks, you know?
Yeah, or there's one obvious chalk. There are worse kinds of slates for sure.
Yeah, very good. KirkDiese in the house as well. What's up, man? How are you?
Doing well. I feel the exact same way. I've been like making changes to my single entries and like every lineup I like, and then I'm like, oh no, but I really loved my last line. It's just running around chasing your own tail. It feels like.
This is when you just enter another tournament and then another tournament, and like with each different iteration, you add in a new tournament so that you can get it all in. Did get some people asking about whether we also Cheese looks more like a professional bowler, and then Joe says Cheese was definitely a good quarterback because he looks like Terry Bradshaw. You get a lot of lookalikes.
I have so many lookalikes. It's wild.
Yeah.
It happens. It's once a day. Someone say, "Hey, you look just like this guy." It's unbelievable. A lot of good-looking people out there.
Right.
Who's the most flattering one? Who did they really?
My favorite that I get fairly regularly is Woody Harrelson.
Oh yeah. That checks out actually.
I can see it.
Let's see. Catching up. Yeah. Somebody asked about the weather. We do have to talk about that. There is a whole bunch of games with a low chance for rain. I think a lot of those could end up, not a lot, 1 or 2 of those could end up with a late start. The one game right now that maybe looks the most like, this could be interesting is Atlanta. 90% of the storms are north and clearing, but I'm just seeing a few more storms pop upstream, meaning still headed that way. So I wouldn't be shocked if we do end up with what would likely still be a late start. Either way, I think all of these games are going to play. And as of now, I don't see any games where you have to worry about where the concern is high enough where you shouldn't play the pitcher. TJ, what's up?
Twins Tigers just got officially delayed.
There you go. That would be one of those games that, late start going to be fine. And there might be a couple more of those. Late start's going to be fine. But Atlanta's the one where do we want pitchers in Atlanta at all, Cheese?
Not at all.
Cool. Then never mind. Everything's going to be fine for bats. There's not a single game that should get postponed or even really bring much drama in that department. So that's pretty much all I've got in the weather department. A whole lot going on, but not enough to waste time on because I think for the most part it all works out. So let's talk about the trickier part of the slate, and I do believe that's pitching. Cheese, what are we doing?
So pitching is only trickier because we have chalk at pitchers. I would say it's easier because you know who the good plays are.
But you can't do it.
You might make the decision that you don't want to be on the one thing on the slate that you know is chalk. That's not how I see it personally, because there is no chalk at all on hitting. So no matter what you do, your lineup's different. So personally, I'm playing the chalk pitchers. I always understand if that's not what you want to do. It's, baseball's a funny thing. And it's funny if a person named Will Warren is the chalk. Like, I understand that a month ago, people would have lost their mind at Will Warren chalk, but he looks absolutely legit. And he's still cheap. So I think Will Warren is fantastic chalk. And then the other two guys that are chalk are Logan Gilbert and Dylan Cease. Fantastic chalk. Like 85% of my pool are those three: Gilbert, Cease, Warren. I'm fine to let other people fade the chalk and play worse pitchers. That is their choice, and I'm here for it.
And really, she's with that many, three like legitimate dudes and some other plays. Even the chalk isn't that chalky.
Yeah, because there's another like five guys, delicious, that are showing 15% ownership. So even there, that we're talking Sonny Gray, Merrill Kelly, Pepio, Quintana, Jose Soriano. Like all those guys are picking up ownership too. So yeah, it's not like we have the 70% owned pitcher.
Yeah.
So again, I'm playing mostly on FanDuel, mostly just Warren, because he's pretty much as good as Gilbert. He's not as good as Gilbert, but with the matchup, it's close-ish, and he's a lot cheaper. And by all means, spend up for some Gilbert and Cease. On DK, pretty much I'm just mixing and matching those three in most of my lineups. I do have a fair amount of Jose Soriano as the cheaper guy. I don't think there's anything wrong with playing Merrill Kelly. I have a little Ryan Pepio. I don't have any Sonny Gray, although I wouldn't tell you you're doing something wrong to have him. You could play like Landon Roop in the mid-tier instead of Soriano if you want. As far as cheap stuff, like I just didn't need it. I mentioned some guys in the musings that I ended up with zero of because I simply don't need it. We're talking like Aaron Savali or Yuri Perez or David Festa or Brian Bayo. Like I just simply don't need that much salary anywhere. If you go Soriano and Warren, you can play Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh if that's what you want to do. Like it's just not that hard. So again, I understand the desire to fade chalk. If there was also chalk on the hitting side, I'd want to fade some of it and then maybe, but I already know like lineups overall are not chalky. So I just want the good pitchers, and you feel free to go a different way if that's what you want to do.
Yeah. Okay. Kirkwood, I want to know what you're thinking. You just playing the good pitchers and getting tricky with bats, or you got different plans?
I feel the same way. I truly feel that there's no reason to play anybody other than the top three. Now, I have considered playing a couple more, and I'll say the one. So obviously, it's Will Warren because of the matchup and the price. Dylan Cease on DK because of the price and matchup, good strikeout matchup. And then Logan Gilbert, the only thing to poke holes would be is that he's been coming back from an elbow injury from a while, and so he's fully back to full strength now. He threw 90 pitches in his last game. He's probably at full strength, and his strikeout numbers are just way above the rest. So he's probably the best, most talented pitcher, but he's also more expensive, and the matchup isn't quite as good, but it's pretty good because they're also without Langford now, Texas. So all three of those look great. And then if I needed salary, the only thing, Soriano would be an obvious one to save it. Pepio, I would consider, and Landon Roop, I think, is fine too. But there's really no reason to do it. Those top three are so much better, I think, and so easy to fit everywhere. So
easy enough.
Yeah.
Gray and Kelly, both guys that I'm seeing fairly high projected ownership, around 15%. Kirkwood, you did not bring them up. Any interest in that? Are they just fine, but not
Sonny Gray is a top tier arm, but like I just don't. He also has a shorter leash, and I just don't see the need for him. He's pretty expensive. And then who was the other one you said?
Kelly. It looks like we've got him at 15%.
Merrill Kelly's fine, not the highest strikeout pitcher, but is facing the Marlins. So an efficient start he should have, and he's probably a little higher on the strikeout side for him. But he's also expensive too. Like, so if you wanted to get he's like the guy you would play if you wanted to get out of ownership. I think he'll come in lower than 15% personally. Yeah. But it's fine. I just don't see the need for it.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I feel like we're pretty clear with what we want to do at pitchers. Let's flip it, talk about the stacks and the bats. Kirkwood, you can lead us off there.
There's everybody. It's like, so the Diamondbacks are a top stack. My favorite is the Padres in Great American Ballpark. Yankees are top stack. The Giants are in Chicago against the White Sox, which is always a fun time. I think Devers should have a big night tonight. Those are like my top tier, and then other than that, I would go to. I would also keep the Dodgers in top tier too, but they're kind of like I'm not playing them tonight. I've kind of skipped over them, and maybe that's a mistake, but we'll see. The Dodgers, Braves, and Rays and Brewers. I mean, I could just keep saying a bunch more teams, but it's Yankees, Padres, Diamondbacks, like the top tier for me.
Okay. Geez, it's pretty fun to look at the ownership projection of these stacks that you see on the screen. No stack over 10%. I'm not sure I've ever seen it that spread out. What do you like?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, and that's why I think you can play chalk pitchers, because your lineup is already different, even if you play whatever your favorite offense is.
Yeah.
I think maybe the Padres get a little more ownership in smaller field stuff, and they get, if something is borderline chalky, even that we're talking 15%, it would probably be the Padres. And I like the Padres a lot. The next we're showing in ownership is the Giants, who's kind of ended up being my second favorite. But again, it's not chalk. It's just maybe more people play the Giants than the Phillies, but it's all close. So Padres, Giants, Yankees, Angels, and Brewers probably next for me for full stacks. But I like every single team on the board. I think I have 19 or 20 teams that I would stack in my first 40 lineups. That's just what the slate is.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Let's go around the horn. TJ pointing out no batters projecting for more than 16% ownership. Yeah, that's pretty wild. Not a single batter over that. Maybe someone will end up there, but for that to show in projections is pretty crazy. Let's go ahead. We do have a bunch of questions coming in, but we're going to go around the horn, talk position by position, give some home run calls. We will get to those questions in just a bit. Cheese, let's start at catcher. What do you like, man?
I like a lot. Cal Raleigh is on the slate, and Nathan Eovaldi is his first start off the IL. We probably don't get anything like full strength or fully stretched out Eovaldi, but still in the realm of everything on this slate, this is not a must spend up for Cal Raleigh slate. By all means, play him, but I'm playing a lot more Logan O'Hoppe and Salvador Perez for the most part, because they're under 3,500 and pretty much as good as whatever you would consider expensive. I do like Contreras and Will Smith. But yeah, Perez and O'Hoppe, definitely my favorites. If you need to go super cheap, there's plenty. Patrick Bailey, Kyle Teal a little bit, Danny Jansen. It kind of goes on and on. But I would say Perez and O'Hoppe are far and away my two highest owned.
Okay. Kirkwood, your thoughts at catcher?
I think William Contreras is my favorite play. O'Hoppe is my next best, then Will Smith and Drake Baldwin. Just like Dave said, the Patrick Bailey, if you're looking for a cheapie at 2,400 against the White Sox, how bad can it be? Kyle Teal and maybe David Fry with a little you don't have to worry about the pinch hit risk, it looks like, tonight, because they have him in there already against a righty, but he's batting cleanup 2,700. Why not? But yeah, I think I'm focusing in on the top or just whoever fits in my stack. The last guy that's cheap that I kind of like, I forgot to say, I like the Cardinals tonight too, especially the lefties. Luis Ortiz, I don't understand how he's been doing what he's been doing to righties, but he has been very susceptible to lefty power. But I'm playing a couple of Cardinals guys, so I like the upside, but I have no problem throwing Pages, even though he's a righty bat, in there at 2,900.
Okay, take me to first base.
All right. First, there's Shohei you can do. Wilmer Flores is going to be really popular tonight at 4,100, home run upside against Savali. Matt Olson, 5,400, one of the best bets for a home run tonight, probably. Reese Hoskins, I like at 3,800 with the platoon against Freeland. You know, he's always hit left-handed pitching very well. Rockies on the road here. Should be a big spot for the Brewers. So like that. Araz, I'm fine playing because he's a Padre. He's probably like the Padre that people will take out of their lineup, even though projections are giving him, because he doesn't have the massive home run upside. But in Great American Ballpark on the road with the, you know, he's batting first, and you know, you get the 9 full innings of at bats. He could definitely single and double his way to a really strong night. Other than that, just maybe Vinny, you know, Fettuccine Friday. I got to show a little love to Vinny Pasquantino.
Fettuccine Friday is a big deal. Cheese, your thoughts at first base?
I would say generally it's my least favorite position on the slate. It's kind of like with Cal Raleigh. It's not really an Ohtani night against a decent lefty. I mean, you can always play him, great, but I have very little. Olson's kind of the only guy I really like as a spend up. Certainly fine with the Wilmer Flores thing. A little bit of Ben Rice and Jonathan Aranda in the mid tier. I also like Hoskins, and I'm fine with Toglia and Vargas as cheap-ish guys. And then on DK, you can go full value hunting with like Trenton Brooks and Lamont Wade, even Colt Keith. And because I don't really like anything other than Olson, I do have a lot of those super cheap guys.
Yeah. All right. How about second base, Cheese?
Second base is pretty good. I'm not even sure where to start. I guess let's start on DraftKings, where it's going to be really tough to get a ball through that side of the infield on the Twins with all the second basemen standing there. But I love Brooks Lee, Cody Clemens, and Willie Castro. You can play all three of them because they're multi-position eligible, but that group alone with also Jake Cronenworth right at that same salary range makes it very easy to punt this position. I certainly like Ketel Marte and Jazz Chisholm, but they're expensive. I like Jazz more on FanDuel where he's cheaper, but I also like Brandon Lau and Nolan Gorman, who are pretty cheap on FanDuel. So it's kind of different between the sites where you don't get that huge discount on the Twins on FanDuel. So that's more of a DraftKings thing. I think that's all I wanted to mention.
Sure. That's a lot. Kirkwood, your thoughts a second.
I like Brendan Donovan leading off the lefties against Ortiz in good hitting environment in Cleveland. So I like that. Can always play Jazz. A little more expensive tonight, but home run upside for sure. Brandon Lau, I like a lot. And then I like Cronenworth. I like Lee, I like the Castro, all the Twins guys that Dave said. And then, that's about it.
Okay, let's go to third base.
Third, Devers is probably the top play against Savali. Right there, it doesn't matter. These both are top plays. Manny Machado or Rafael Devers. Take a pick, flip a coin. It really doesn't matter.
I'm not sure if you were aware, but Devers is only 2 of 10 against Savali.
It's hysterical that someone said that, because if he was 3 of 10, he'd be hot, because that's 3.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
2 of
that's
10
pretty good.
Isn't even bad. Like that means
Right.
less than nothing. I don't even know what that means.
Well, I mean, Chop's BVP model would not be spitting him out. So
Yeah, but if he was 3 for 10, he would be.
Yeah.
So
But he's
you take
not.
away the
But
one
he's
line
not.
drive, because the one line drive, the guy made a diving catch. It's a very meaningful number.
Yeah, I hear you. You got to trust the data. Austin Riley, 4,400. Junior Caminero, 4,800. Like them. If you need to punt, I think Toro for the batting second for Boston here against Berrios can't be the bad play at that price. And then, Miguel Vargas has been really good all season long for the White Sox. He's batting cleanup. He's 3,300. So I like him as well. And that's about it.
Very good. Cheese, your thoughts at third, please.
I love third. Just like Kirk said, there is no real way to say who the best play is. It's either Devers or Machado or Devers or both of them. On FanDuel, play both of them. I like Machado a little better, but those guys are fantastic. And Austin Riley, pretty fantastic as well. So they're listed as the top 3. I would say that's a very good top 3. I like Caminero a little bit. I'm playing Vargas more at first because first is weaker than third. And then Addison Barger, who I like. You can play him in the outfield as well. And mostly that's what I'm doing is just playing Devers, Machado, Riley, and playing all these other guys at the other positions where they're eligible.
Okay. Shortstop.
A lot of the top guys have just kind of like totally fine matchups, but not great matchups. I would say Witt is my favorite of the spend up guys. They're all fine. You know, you can always play Ellie, even if it's a good pitcher. You can always play Trey Turner, but I don't really like him. Gunnar Henderson against a pretty good pitcher. It's all fine, but Witt's the only one that kind of stands out to me there. Willie Adames in the mid-tier is probably Adames and Witt are the closest things to air quotes chalk that we get, but again, it's not a relatively meaningful level. The cheap stuff gets pretty blah. Like you could do Joey Ortiz, I think, if you need a punt. But usually if I need to go what I would consider cheap, I would just go to Adames.
Okay. Do we see that the Reds game is in a late start, by the way? But it looks like already announced the start time. So if you do see it, it's not a big deal. Just FYI, going to be fine. Oh yeah, look at that delay in Cincy. Who's just saying banner says they're going to play like 10 minutes after scheduled first pitch. So they're good. I think that brings us to Kirkwood's take it short.
All right. I mean, Adames is the most playable guy because of his price at 4K. There's Mookie and there's Bobby Witt in the high end. Bobby Witt's probably the best play overall. I keep playing the cheap batting cleanup Carlos Correa, and I will continue to keep playing him until he starts homering.
You're going to be playing him a long time.
Yeah, I might be, unless he's against right-handed pitching. I mean, I'm going to need a lefty bullpen guy to come in there, but I'm going to continue playing him at 3,200. So we'll see what happens. But Mason Wynn is fine for 3,400. I'm out on Ellie De La Cruz at his price in the matchup against Cease. Trey Turner is in play, but yeah, that's about it. And maybe Xander, just as part of a Padres stack.
Yeah. You get to bring us to the outfield. What do you like there?
All right. Tatis, Jackson Merrill, love them both. Aaron Judge, love them. Big Ron, Acuna, you have to love them.
Big Ron.
I was like, who the hell is Big Ron?
About now? Yeah. Now I
You don't know Big Ron? Big Ronnie? Should I say Ronnie?
That's the first time I've heard
Ronald.
Big Ron. But
Big Ronald?
It. Yeah, I'll stick with Big Ron.
All right, Big Ron. Big Ron it is. Elliot Ramos, 4,500. Trout is still too cheap everywhere, really on FanDuel, but also 4,500 on DK is cheap. Jackson Churio, 4,800. You have to like a lot of these Milwaukee guys. So Yelich is also in play. And I like the Cardinals guys. So I'm going to be playing some Alec Burleson tonight. Batting third, 3,700, home run chasing against Ortiz. Teoscar, this feels like the night for Teoscar. He gets the lefty matchup. Yankees are like Grisham, maybe Bellinger, Gavin Sheets I'm playing. But I'll let Dave take the rest.
Cheese, you got a few more names. And by the way, one person has brought up Rengifo multiple times. I don't know if we have any interest there, but no.
It's fine. That's just a weird name to say a bunch of times. He's leading off for the Angels and he's cheap. So like, I mean, sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. There's no reason to like him and mention him, but like he's there. He exists and he probably gets on base and scores. So sure.
Okay.
Yeah. I also like Big Ron.
Big
I don't know why
Ron.
that made me very happy. Yeah. The high end is great. Judge, Acuna, Tatis, Buxton, Schwarber. I would go in that order. I like all those guys.
How many big outfield bats are you getting in like a typical lineup? Two.
Yeah. And that does not usually include Judge or Acuna, because they're like on DraftKings, they're like $1,000 more than Tatis and Buxton and Schwarber. So if I'm getting one of them, it's probably only one super expensive guy. Mid-tier is good. Kirk mentioned a bunch of them, like Merrill and Ramos, probably my favorites. Churio, Taylor Ward, along with Trout in there, and Grisham. All that stuff is pretty good. Kerry Carpenter, cheap-ish. We have more cheap twins in the outfield. Castro's outfield eligible, along with Larnach and Wallner. And then Gavin Sheets and Joe Adell in the relatively cheap area.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff. The people want some home run calls, so we're going to give it to them. But also, if you look at the bottom, you've got some home run calls already scrolling. That's from Spidey. Brandon Lowe or Lau. Nobody knows. Plus 400. Gavin Sheets plus 425. Joe Adell at plus 390. And if you want more of those, it's easy. All you got to do is click the thumbs up, hit that like button. It's free content from literally two of the sharpest minds in the industry. So make sure you are hitting the thumbs up. TJ, how many more likes do we need for our next Spidey Bomb? I call upon him like he's just standing by, waiting to answer my question at all times.
He usually is.
In the chat.
Yeah, he wants to jump in so bad. He's like just waiting. But so something must have happened.
50. We need 50 more likes, I think.
I'm sitting outside on my patio producing right now, so no camera.
Okay. I mean, that's allowed. You can. Are you shirtless or something? Are you naked?
No. My laptop camera isn't working on StreamYard for some reason.
All right, that explains it. Okay.
It doesn't let me show, but
bottom line is hit the thumbs up. That's what this whole us getting sidetracked is about. Let's give the people some home run calls as they smash that like button. Cheese. Big Ron. I mean, gotta go.
He's a good one. On the high end, we'll go with Machado, big man. And then mid-tier, there's a lot of home runs tonight. Everyone, they're all big people now in my mind. Counts as mid-tier. Let's do. How about Rhys Hoskins? And then
I love Reese.
I will join Spidey on Joe Adell, Big Joe.
Okay. Can I, before we get Kirk's takes, can I come clean about something that I've been confused with all year that I just learned today? I thought that the Rays guy, Caballero, and the Rays guy, Caminero, were the same dude. I
can see the confusion. Yeah.
I was unaware that those were two separate players because I saw
and he's Caballero. So good, he gets to hit twice in the line.
Yeah, I saw Caballero, and I was like, oh, I bet people want to play him. How many home runs is he up to? And I looked at 2. I was like, that seems wrong. The other guy is the one that apparently hits home runs.
Okay, so that clears everything up. But you remember way back, like a month ago, you're like, I'm going to my first lineup of the year, and I'm going to play Caballero. You thought it was Caminero. It all makes sense. And I was like, what are you doing? And you're like, no, it's a good play. This all now.
Yeah. Hey. Oh, you're muted. You're muted, bud. We see you now, but we can't.
He ended up getting like 4 steals that game.
Right. Yeah. He stole bases. Yeah. But now I understand. It was like, you thought it was Caminero, or you thought he was coming to bat twice.
Yeah. That's on me. All right. Anyways, Kirkwood, you got some home run calls for us, man?
Big Mike. Big Fernando.
Big Mike Trout.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay, just checking which Big Mike.
And Big Fernando, and I'll say Big Brendan Donovan.
Okay. All right. There you go. We got some names. Let's answer some questions. We got 15 minutes until lock. We've had 3 games, I think, already late starting. They're all going to be fine. Again, the only one I'm really watching. Let me just do a quick Atlanta radar check here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's a decent chance that Atlanta calls a late start, and that would be the one game that will be a little stressful, but they'll still very likely end up playing. But I do think they might need a late start, being that there's storms firing upstream of Atlanta right now. So that's a little. Someone says big Altuve. That's good. Okay, let's answer some questions. Let's see what we got. Jumping in the Discord. That is where the cool kids hang out. If you haven't joined the Discord, you're missing out because that's where I take the questions from first. And we generally just have a good chat in there. DK Cash, 4K or less at first, Cheese.
Hoskins.
Okay. DK Cash switching it up here. Kirkwood, this is for you. Helio Ramos or Jackson Merrill? Thank you.
I like Merrill, but they're both flip a coin type plays tonight.
Yeah. Okay. Bean says FanDuel GPP. Which pitchers do you like? Kirkwood? FanDuel GPP. What pitchers?
I mean, I just like Warren for everything because of his price. I guess I'd say Pepio.
Okay, great. Jumping into the YouTube, make sure you hit that thumbs up. Scrolling up just a little bit. Justin says, all right, real quick, chalk pitchers and chalk stack. There's 3 pitchers that you could kind of describe as chalk, but really none of them are all that chalky, and their names are Cheese.
Warren is the highest owned, and then Gilbert and Cease.
As for stacks, the highest owned stack is probably going to be San Diego, but to call it chalky is maybe a stretch. It's probably coming in maybe around 10, 15%. Everything else coming in less than 10%. Just play what you like, man. Just play what you like. Right? Is that fair?
You got it. We have chalk at pitcher. We do not have chalk with hitters.
Yeah. Kirkwood, how are we feeling about Jake Magnum as a one-off? Big Jake.
I run away from that. Big Jake Magnum. I hate everything to do with Magnums. I don't like them. I don't like Big Jake. I like little Altuve.
Stop. Just stop.
Tiny.
Now.
I like tiny hands. You know.
Tiny hands play of the day. Tuve gets it done. Let's see. Stanton or Ben Rice? Cheese. Stanton or Ben Rice?
Ben Rice.
Okay. How's the weather in the Bronx? It's fine. It's not particular. I actually think maybe the winds were gently blowing in. Let me check. Yeah, winds are blowing in at 10 miles per hour, but the last I checked on Weather Edge, it represented a 5% decrease to home runs. So, like, man, it's fine. It's not ideal. It's fine. Cheese, your favorite second baseman on DK?
I mean, that's very dependent on salary, of course. Like, I would say it's not a spend up, so I'll go Cronenworth.
Okay.
But essentially Cronenworth or one of the 3 twins.
Kirkwood, Don Playa says, I've got a question, and he's making you work for it. 51 hundo, last spot on DK.
Jazz Chisholm.
He didn't give us a position, though.
Yeah.
That makes that difficult, right? You gotta tell us.
I just want to say too that I won't eat Magnum ice cream either. I want nothing to do with anything Magnum.
Okay, what?
Sorry, I had to get that off my chest.
Just circled back to that 5 minutes later.
Well, the chat is still talking about Magnum.
Oh man, it does. The ice cream does make me a bit uncomfortable.
They have some good their ice cream bars. They've got a double chocolate.
I just
it's really pretty good.
I can't do chocolate.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I get it. I get it. Yeah. All right. Where are we? Marlins or National stack, Kirkwood?
Wow. Nats.
Let's see. Are the bats okay in Atlanta? Crazy Coop asks. I think so. It's maybe the only game that has any risk in my mind at this point, and I have the game as yellow. So I think it's fine. If I could go back in time, I probably would have made it yellow-orange just to cover my ass, but they both say the same thing, which is I think the game is going to play. Let's see. How about Cameron Cheese for cash and get some bats?
Cameron, like the pitcher for cash?
Yeah.
Absolutely no.
We're going to put the big bats down. We're going to play 2 of the 3 good pitchers.
And he's not even cheap, so I don't even understand the question.
Yeah. Okay. Justin says, his name is Mangum, not Magnum, right? Yeah, but where's the fun in that? It's a long season, man. Let us have some fun, all right? Okay, here we go. Enfinant. I never know how to pronounce that. Enfinant says, Cheese, Tatis Jr. or Buxton? FanDuel single entry.
Absolutely love them both. I prefer Tatis though.
Yeah. Okay. Kirkwood, Jackson Merrill or Grisham, FanDuel GPP.
Jackson Merrill.
Kirkwood, Carpenter or Ramos from Coach B.
Ramos.
All right, got some questions in the old Discord. Kirkwood, right back to you. DK single entry 3v3. Merrill, Xander, Devers, or Adele Adames Machado.
Is this for me?
It is, yes.
The first option.
Very good. Cheese, this one's coming to you. FanDuel GPP salary doesn't matter. He's absolutely
That's
loaded.
nice. Must be nice.
Does what he wants. J Sam says, "Who's your?" All right, this makes it less fun when it's this specific. Who is your third favorite Tiger after the Green and KC as part of a 3-man mini?
Gotcha. So I've actually had that exact discussion with myself several times today. It's partly because I want to fill first base. It's either Torkelson or Colt Keith. If salary really doesn't matter, it would be Torkelson.
Okay, great. Infinite or infinite? Let me know. He's trying to.
He typed out how to say it, and it didn't help.
I'd still like infinite or infinite. Let me know.
Infinite.
Infinite.
I think I can help with the whole Pam Pan situation. Pam.
So you get halfway through the season, coming up on the break, and it just gets a little out there sometimes. DK tournament, Kirkwood, your favorite Brewers tonight?
Reese Hoskins, Jackson Churio, Yelich. Those are my top three.
Okay. Right back to you, Kirkwood. Single entry must play. Is there any single entry must plays?
Manny Machado and Big Fernando.
Big Fran. Alan says Cheese Toglia as a one-off DK single entry. Big Tog. No, it doesn't work.
Toga.
He's Big Mike. He's another Big Mike.
All right.
Yeah, I like him as a cheap first baseman.
Steven says, Cheese, can we do a Quintana pivot off of a Chalky Warren?
I don't know who we are. You can. I cannot. Like, it's fine. He's facing the Rockies, so anything can happen. I don't like him at all, personally.
Okay. FanDuel GPP. Kirkwood, Torres Carp or Tauchman Benintendi?
Torres Carp would be the easy answer.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Pronounce it like the Eminem first album, Infinite. Just Infinite.
That's the word infinite.
That's what, right? Yeah. All right. I think we're good.
Infinite.
That helps. That helps again.
Like seven different ways of trying to get your name right. Can you just make a new account again? Have an easier name for us,
or just let TJ always introduce his questions.
Yeah, we'll have TJ do it from now on. It sounds French. Cheese on DK for single entry. Trout. I have Trout no Hoppy. Should I make it 3 with Shanwell or go Hoskins as a one-off?
I mean, as much as I prefer Hoskins, I think the correct answer there is to go with the third angel.
Okay. Joseph says weather in Cincinnati. Is that where I said they announced the late start? But it's only like a 10-minute late start, so the game's going to be fine.
And unlikely to get a delay after that, because that is Dylan Cease in that one.
Big Infinite says big Infinite. Let's see. Yeah, it's not going to have a delay. Sorry, that game is fine after the brief late start. Cheese, can I stack Toronto on DK single entry, or should I start all over with a Tiger stack?
You can. Yeah, I mean, I prefer the Tigers, but Toronto is just one of those teams in that big mess of 20 teams that I like. I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Yeah. Okay. Kirkwood, y'all want Ellie in your GPP lineup? You want some Ellie?
Not really at the price. On FanDuel, probably, but not on DK.
Yeah. Andrew says FanDuel GPP at third, Riley or Barger?
With me?
Riley. Yeah, sure.
Right.
Sure. Riley. All right. Cheese, back to you from Free Flow Technology. Sal Frelick or Willie Castro, DraftKings tournament?
Willie.
Big Willie.
Big Willie. Yeah. Big Willie. Joseph says, is Sonny Gray okay to play at pitcher? Cheese? Sonny Gray okay?
Okay is a word you can use. I don't have any, but he's okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. TJ says, thanks, Cheese. Not our TJ. TJ Mooseman's.
Oh, geez. Thanks, TJ.
Yeah. Right. Our TJ didn't say anything.
TJ.
Thanks, Cheese.
Our TJ. There you go.
There he is. He's back. Let's see. I have 25 hundo left for util. Can I get a play, please, for FanDuel? Cheese, you want to do the dirty work here? Give him a play at 2,500 on FanDuel?
Yeah, I would Roman Anthony on that one.
Okay.
That's a good play.
Kirkwood, Bailey, Koss, or Wisely as my fifth giant. I don't know any of those dudes. I'm embarrassed to admit.
They all stink.
There's no reason to be embarrassed for that.
Yeah, it's on. You flip a coin on any of them.
Yeah. But truly, you don't have an opinion.
I really don't.
Yeah.
Does Dave have one?
Geez, Bailey, Koss, or Wisely?
I mean, ever so slightly, I would lean to Bailey. But essentially, no.
Yeah. Aaron Smith pointing out l'enfant is French for the child. I believe maybe the baby. Yeah, that's true. That's what I see every time I read that name. Cub Stack viable, Kirkwood? GPP on FanDuel?
Always.
Yeah, well said. Your favorite $7 outfielder on Yahoo? We don't know, do we?
I mean, I can go pull it up if you. Kirk, do you still play on Yahoo?
I do. I play it. But I don't put much effort into it because the action is so low now. It's just depressing. It would be John Rave from
that guy parties.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
You ever seen him with the sticks? Yeah.
Let's see. Who would you play on FanDuel, Cheese? Soriano, Pepio, or Horton?
Definitely not Horton. I mean, definitely not Horton. He's close, but I think I would do Pepio, then Soriano, then Horton. They're all like MME viable for me.
Yeah. Yep, that's me. He says Brooks Lee, Cheese's son, Brooks Lee as a one-off, or Koss in a giant stack. I got to go Brooks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Peter says, Kirkwood, 4,200 left at first on DK. Do I play Hoskins? But if I do, I got to take one brewer out, Durbin, who's been smoking hot, or Yelich, or Churio. What do you do?
I would take Durbin out, but or it doesn't matter. You don't have to play Reese.
Yeah. Okay. Kid Kobe says Kirkwood, Tucker, and Abrams, or PCH, which may be PCA and Woods.
I mean, the PCA and Woods.
Yeah. Last one, Cheese. Well, he says last one. It's his last one. It might not be the chat's. Thoughts on Jake Irvin tonight on a Netoless Angels?
No, he couldn't strike. He couldn't strike Bobby Gomes out. Bobby Gomes is a tough striker. As he'll tell you, he'd hit home runs in Major League.
He could bat 250 right now in the bigs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jackson says, geez, Gilbert, Caesar, and LA stacks for all the money. Wasn't really a question, but if you have any thoughts on it.
Who's Caesar?
Oh, it says Caesar. Cease.
That means cease, probably.
Yeah.
For a minute, big Caesar. That would be great. And which LA? There's two LAs. I don't understand that question.
There's a lot we didn't get about that question, Jackson.
Both LA stacks are interesting.
Yeah.
So yes, Gilbert, Caesar, and with those two, it's got to be the Angels. Yes, I like that.
Okay. Big Cheese, or as Derek says, El Queso Grande, bringing you everything you need. Thoughts? Let's see. Brooks Lee is a one-off. Yeah, I think we're in pretty good shape here. So I think we can bounce. We hit the lock. I am going to give an update on that Atlanta game because I do think there's a decent chance that they hit us with a late start. So we will. I'll monitor that. I'll give you an update here before lock. or rather before first pitch. So let's clear on out for Cheese and for Kirkwood and for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you. And we will catch you tomorrow. You have been